These three suburbs come up in almost every relocation conversation in Pittsburgh: Upper St. Clair, Peters Township, and Mount Lebanon. And most people think they're choosing between three great options, but what they don't realize is one of these will clearly fit you and the other two won't. On paper, they all look similar: great schools, strong communities, high demand. So people assume you can't really go wrong. That's where a lot of people make the mistake. Now, I know you've probably seen the school rankings as you've seen home prices, and you're thinking, that looks really good. But you also have real questions. So what's the catch? What don't relocation sites tell you? What's it actually like to live here? Because the difference between these areas isn't about which one is better. It's about how you actually live your life day to day. So instead of giving you a generic breakdown, I'm going to walk you through how to choose between these three based on lifestyle, budget, and priorities, so you can actually land in the right place the first time. I'm telling you the real pros, the real cons, no sugarcoating. Because the worst thing that can happen is you make a move based on the highlights, get here, and realize there were things you needed to know first. As you're watching this, start thinking about what matters most to you. That's what's going to make one of these areas stand out. Let's start with the biggest misconception. People think these are all just great suburban areas. They're not. Each one attracts a completely different type of buyer, even though they're all in the same general area. And the easiest way to understand this is like so. Mount Lebanon is lifestyle and walkability. Upper St. Clair, you're going to get structure, schools, and space. Peters Township, you've got newer construction, quieter, more spread out. Now let's break down what that actually means for you. Mount Lebanon is the one people gravitate toward when they want walkability, character, a more connected and community feel. This is where people say, I want to be able to walk to coffee shops, restaurants, etc. That's not something you're getting even close to if you're more geared towards living in Upper St. Clair or Peters Township. Now, the pros for Mount Lebanon are the walkable town center on Washington Road with local restaurants, coffee shops, bars, and retail. You can actually leave your car at home on a Saturday here. Here's what you're trading if you want to be in Mount Lebanon: larger homes, newer construction, location, lifestyle, and convenience. Rush hour trains run every 10 to 15 minutes. You can be in the city without driving or parking, and the T will take you there. Leaving a Mount Lebanon stop might take you 10 to 30 minutes depending on where you want to go in the city. So who does this actually work for? Well, if you value being out and about, want more of an active, connected feel, you don't need new construction, strong schools. So Mount Lebanon stands out immediately. And Mount Lebanon High School is nationally ranked, consistently placing in the top 500 nationally per US News rankings. The district has one of the longest track records of academic performance in Western PA. So it's got a strong community identity, farmers markets, community events. Mount Lebanon feels like a place with a real heartbeat. There's 15 public parks within the township, including an Olympic-sized public pool and an ice rink, and one of the oldest public golf courses in Western PA. If you want more space and want newer homes, prefer quieter, less dense areas, this can start to feel pretty tight quickly. Now, one of the drawbacks is the highest property tax burden of the three communities. Mount Lebanon is it. The school district millage exceeds 30 mils. On a $600,000 home, you're looking at a pretty meaningful tax bill annually. The homes and lots are smaller in comparison to Upper St. Clair and Peters Township. You're in a denser, older community. Expect mid-century construction, smaller yards, and less square footage per dollar. Many buyers walk into a kitchen or bathroom that needs updating, so budget for that. There's more traffic and density than the other two areas, so Washington Road gets really busy, and it's not so congested like a major city, but it's way more active than Upper St. Clair and Peters Township. Lastly, new construction is pretty much non-existent here. Buyers who need more space, newer construction, or whose budget is very sensitive to the higher tax load, you should look elsewhere. I'm Tim Phillips, your local Pittsburgh realtor with the Phillips team here in Pittsburgh, PA. I am here to be your #1 trusted guide to everything you need to know before you pack a single box with your move to the Pittsburgh area. And if Pittsburgh is on your radar, hit the like button, ring the bell, subscribe, or better yet, let's talk. Email me at thephillipsteam@kw.com and we can get a conversation started. All right, let's get back into the content. So moving on to Upper St. Clair, this is where you land when you've done your research and you want the most proven, consistent, high-performing suburban experience in Pittsburgh. This is the area that feels more structured, more uniformed, and more predictable. And for a lot of families, that's exactly what they want. So one of the pros is it's one of the top-ranked school districts in Pennsylvania. Recent statewide rankings based on PSSA and Keystone exam scores placed USC in the top 25 in the state. The performance has been consistent for decades, so this just isn't a recent spike. The other pros are you're going to get larger lots, more space than Mount Lebanon, homes are set back further off the street, and neighborhoods feel more open and residential. Another pro is They too also have public parks, 14 to be exact, throughout the township, totaling over 730 acres. So it's very family-friendly infrastructure. It's a well-run township with excellent municipal services, roads get maintained, parks get maintained. The place just functions really, really well. Similar to Mount Lebanon, there's a strong resale value. Upper St. Clair consistently holds value well because of sustained demand from families prioritizing schools. So you're getting a strong school system, established neighborhood, larger lots in comparison to Mount Lebanon. But here's the trade-off. You're giving up walkability, that lively feel, immediate access to shops and restaurants. So who is Upper St. Clair for? Well, it's for families where the schools are the primary decision driver. Buyers who want established neighborhoods with a proven track record, people who are comfortable driving for everything and don't need or miss walkability, Upper St. Clair is going to be a strong option. But here are the drawbacks. It's fully car dependent. There is no walkable town center. There's no light rail. Although you do have access, you're very close. Many people go to South Hills Village and park there and get on the T and then travel to downtown. If you want to go anywhere, you're pretty much driving. It can feel quiet to the point of dull, especially for buyers coming from more active urban environments. This is a neighborhood-oriented suburb. The energy is in people's homes and backyards, not on street. The homes are skewed toward older construction, similar to Mount Lebanon, though the inventory mix is a little more broader. Except homes from the 1970s through the 1990s are the majority of available stock in our current market. Now, the commute to downtown is going to be anywhere between 20 to 35 minutes by car, and that depends on where you're at exactly. And on a bad traffic day, that number goes way up. There is new construction, but it is limited. There's more than Mount Lebanon, but less than Peters Township. Buyers who want convenience within walking distance, a lively community, or newer construction, anyone who needs the energy of a more active suburban environment, this place can feel a little quiet. If it sounds like I'm talking about you, I am. You should probably look elsewhere. Out of these two so far, I'm curious to see which one you're leaning more towards, Mount Lebanon or Upper St. Clair. Drop it in the comments, let me see where you're gravitating towards. Now let's talk about Peters Township. So Peters Township is different from both Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair. This is where people go when they want more space, newer homes, and a quieter, more spread out feel. This is not a walkable lifestyle, although you will find some neighborhoods that are very close to the Montour Trail where you can go out and walk there, but you're not going to find any shops, restaurants, or retail on the Montour Trail. This area is drive everywhere, more separation, more privacy. Peters Township is the answer for buyers who want more of everything, more space, modernness, quiet, and who are willing to trade walkability and proximity for it. It's a suburb that feels most familiar to people relocating from markets with newer developments. So you're getting new construction, larger homes, more modern layouts. And for a lot of buyers, that's the deciding factor. Newer construction dominates. The open floor plans, larger garages, updated finishes. If you've been living in a newer home in your current market, Peters Township is going to be very close to what you want. There's more square footage per dollar than Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair in most price ranges. Your budget goes further on the size of home here. There's larger lots, more land, more separation between homes, more privacy. Peters Township School District is also nationally ranked. The high school has appeared alongside Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair in US News top high school rankings. You're not trading school quality for space here. Now, one of the pros is the Washington County tax structure. So Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair are in Allegheny County, and Peters Township is in Washington County. From Mount Lebanon to Peters Township, you're talking about maybe 15 minutes separating these two areas. So they're very close with each other. Mileage wise, I don't know exactly, I'd have to look it up, but I'm going to guess that they're separated from the most southern end of Mount Lebanon to the most northern end of Peters Township. I'm going to say 6 to 8 miles. This is a meaningful pro for many buyers. The assessment and tax system in Washington County differs from Allegheny County. And for buyers at higher price points, the annual tax difference can be significant. And that's real money. So if you're someone who values everything I just mentioned, Peters Township usually stands out right away. So to summarize the drawbacks, Peters Township, it's not walkable at all. You will drive everywhere, every time, for everything. Now this is not a nuisance, it's just a defining feature of the lifestyle that you get here. There is no public transportation here. Similar to Upper St. Clair, many people will commute to South Hills Village where they'll park and get on the T from there in order to get downtown. It's the furthest point from downtown out of the three communities that we described. Your commute is going to be anywhere from 25 minutes to 40 minutes, and you're going to be traveling I-79 routinely. Inventory is also tight here. The newer construction tends to skew towards the higher price ranges, starting at $700,000 and going all the way up to over $1.7 million. So buyers with tighter budgets here, you may want to look for other options. So if what I just said sounds like an absolute nightmare for you, you should probably look somewhere else. Now let's briefly talk about something that really shapes this decision, which is your budget. In the $400,000 to $700,000 range, you're playing in all three of these areas. But what you get is very different depending on where you land. Mount Lebanon, for example, smaller, older homes in prime locations. Upper St. Clair, balanced size and location. Peters Township, larger, newer homes. So the real question becomes, do you want location, balance, or space? Here's a mistake I see all the time. People choose based on what looks best online, but online doesn't show you daily lifestyle or convenience, how it actually feels to live there. And that's why people end up second guessing their decision later, because once you're living there, those small differences become big ones. If you're trying to decide between these three areas, start here. Ask yourself, do I want walkability and space? How important is it that I get a newer home versus a home with character? And how much does daily convenience really matter? Your answers will point you clearly toward one of these three communities. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The Pittsburgh South Hills is genuinely one of the strongest relocation markets in the country for families. The schools are real, the value relative to comparable markets are real, the quality of life is real, but it's not perfect for everyone, and pretending it is doesn't help you. The winters are long, the roads are winding. Outside of Mount Lebanon, you're in a car, and taxes vary more than the listing price tells you. Knowing all of that going in is what makes the difference between a family that lands here and thrives and a family that moves in and spends 2 years second guessing, did we make the right decision? If you want help working through any of this for your specific situation, that's the conversation I have with relocating families every week. No pressure, no agenda, just honest information, so you can make a decision you'll feel good about a year from now. Reach me at my email below or call me and text me, that works too. Subscribe if you want breakdowns like this as I put out content weekly. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you on the next one.